I'm sorry, Triple H, but you did not cook with the WrestleMania 41 buildup. And look, I already know Hunter's not gonna like this one.
The internet's not real life, right? And the and the complaining that is on there is not real life. Like you could read the internet and it'll sound like this thing is dead. It's not, like, and I'll use Cody as the example. Cody's already jumped the shark. He's dead as a babyface. He's like, really? Because I don't know. I'm in an arena with 10,000, 15,000 people every night going ape for me, selling the most merchandise. He's like, yeah, like, but sure, whatever you want to say on the internet.
Right,
that's the golden rule.
Let's get one thing straight. I'm not a fan of Triple H telling the WWE Universe to stop and complaining. If you put out a product and your audience does not vibe with it, then you have to be open to feedback. That is just part of the job. Just look at the We Want Cody movement. If it wasn't for us fans being loud and relentless, The Rock would have stolen Cody's spot last year, and instead of Rhodes finishing his story, we probably would have gotten Dwayne beating his cousin, holding the belt for one day, and then walking off into the Hollywood sunset. Triple H is lucky that we and we complain. Ignoring honest fan feedback feels like something Vince McMahon would do, not the guy who's supposed to be ushering in a new era. Now, of course, I get ignoring the trolls. The Cody is dead as a babyface crowd. Yes, they're just Roman stans who are still salty at the fact that Cody beat their guy. But there is a real issue here that we need to talk about, and that's the fact that more and more fans are looking at WrestleMania 41 and they're just not hyped. And I don't blame them because I'm one of those people. Triple H, I believe, nailed the last two Manias, but this year, it does not have the same spark. So in today's video, we're going to break down exactly why WrestleMania 41 isn't hitting and how Triple H fumbled the bag with the booking. At the Elimination Chamber, we witnessed one of the most shocking heel turns in WWE history. John Cena, aka Mr. Hustle, loyalty and respect, aligned himself with The Rock and embraced the dark side. At first, this felt like the twist that was going to save WrestleMania, and then it didn't feel that way. John Cena disappeared from TV for 2 weeks after this heel turn because he was off filming a movie. No explanation, no fallout, it was just silence. When he finally did show up, he cut a solid promo, blaming the fans for turning him into a villain. But here's the problem. It felt like Cena was feuding with us, the audience, instead of Cody Rhodes. And that also just doesn't make sense. The WWE fans have been nothing but supportive of John Cena over the last few years. People were genuinely upset at the fact that he lost at the Royal Rumble, and then he also won at the Chamber, fair and square, to earn a title shot. But then he turns heel because the fans booed him a decade ago. The logic just isn't logicking. You've got a universally loved John Cena back in the title picture, and then he just turned heel out of nowhere against a fan base that's been cheering for him like crazy. It kind of feels a little forced. On top of that, The Rock, who's supposed to be his partner in crime, never even showed up to explain the alliance. John Cena and Cody even barely acknowledged that aspect of it. That is a huge missed opportunity. To make matters worse, John Cena was only on TV for 3 weeks before vanishing again for the rest of the build. The Rock, for all of his Hollywood commitments, showed up more during his heel run last year against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I believe the WWE kind of fumbled what could have been an all-time great heel storyline. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of time. If Cena wins the championship, this could heat up fast. But as of right now, it's been weak. Not awful, but just disappointing. Definitely not the greatest heel run ever territory like fans were hoping for. And that's the real issue. It should be on fire right now, but instead it feels half-baked. Let's be honest, WrestleMania 41 was cooked the moment that the Royal Rumble winners were revealed. First up, we got Charlotte Flair. She made her return and won the Rumble, and if you want proof that fans weren't feeling it, just take a look at the YouTube numbers. The official video got 7,000 likes and over 40,000 dislikes. That's not just a little backlash, that's a massive rejection. There was no reason for Charlotte to be in this spot again. The crowd did not want it. The storyline wasn't there, and the feud with Tiffany Stratton did not gain any real momentum until literally a week ago, and even then, the buzz came from a controversial shoot-style promo where both women went off script. Some fans loved the realism, but others thought it was too messy and unnecessary, especially if it's just setting up another predictable Charlotte win. And let's be real, a lot of people don't want that. Then you've got Jey Uso. WWE posted the clip of his Rumble win on YouTube, and it got 28,000 likes, but it also got 50,000 dislikes. And that tells you everything. The backlash wasn't even about Jey himself, it was about who did not win. The fans wanted John Cena, CM Punk, or even Roman Reigns to win that Rumble. The match was clearly stacked, and Jey winning felt underwhelming by comparison. And while his road to WrestleMania did improve, and I'll say that's one of the better storylines right now, especially since he dropped the Yeet gimmick and got serious, but at the end of the day, it still doesn't feel like a main event program. Part of that is because we've seen it before. Gunther versus Jey Uso is a match that we've gotten to see a couple of times now. They just faced off even a couple months ago. That is a problem. On top of that, the early weeks of the feud was very weak, and while it's gotten better, it just does not scream WrestleMania headliner, and that's exactly why it's not closing the show. In my opinion, putting the World Heavyweight Championship on Gunther going into WrestleMania was a massive mistake. That title should have been wrapped in the real main event picture with guys like Punk, Rollins, and Reigns. That is where the real star power is. Instead, I know it's going to suck to say this, but it's stuck in the mid-card storyline that's trying to be the main event. That brings me to the next issue with WrestleMania 41, and that's Gunther as a champion completely derailed what should have been the hottest match on the card, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. On paper, that's a main event dream match, but the build-up, it's been weird, confusing, and flat. CM Punk kept talking about some mysterious favor that Paul Heyman owes him. Roman's been getting jealous like he's in a soap opera, and then Seth Rollins was just kind of thrown into the mix out of nowhere, making vague Shield references and suddenly asking Heyman for a favor as well. What is this? A custody battle over Paul Heyman? It's messy, and worst of all, it's missing stakes. This is the match that should have been for the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Imagine this, Punk beat Gunther at the Rumble, and then Roman won the actual Rumble match, and that's when Rollins inserted himself into the title picture, not just because of old grudges, but he sees the danger of a cancerous CM Punk and a part-time Roman Reigns threatening to ruin the legacy of the title that he worked so hard to elevate. Now that is a story I can sink my teeth into, not this strange love triangle with Seth Rollins as a side hoe. Right now, it just feels like he's there for a Shield nostalgia pop when he should have been the emotional backbone of this feud. And honestly, the reason all of this fell apart is because Triple H refused to have his guy Gunther drop the belts. Look, I love Gunther. I think the IC run was legendary, but keeping the World Heavyweight Championship on him at the expense of a very hot triple threat story, that is just bad booking. This match had the potential to be an unforgettable main event of WrestleMania 41, but instead, it's lost in a fog of favors, jealousy, and wasted potential. And speaking of wasted potential, we gotta talk about Drew McIntyre, who's arguably the most disrespected man in this entire WrestleMania build. Don't get me wrong, his feud with Damian Priest has been solid, and I think Drew's been doing some great work, so there's no shade there, but let's be 100% real, I think he deserves so much more. He shouldn't be a part of that random feud. He should have been in the main event with CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins, because no one in WWE had a stronger 2024 than Drew McIntyre. He's been cutting the best promos of his career, delivering bangers in that ring, and he gave us that all-time classic at Hell in a Cell. He was firing on all cylinders. This is the most compelling version of Drew that we've ever seen, and not only has he earned his spot at the top of the card, but it makes sense from a storyline perspective. He's got long-standing heat with all three of these guys. He's got beef with CM Punk, that's real and raw, and it's never gonna go away. His feud with Seth Rollins last year was built around the very championship that should have been on the line. And then Roman screwed Drew over time and time again. It was right there, a tailor-made, fatal four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship, it would have been Punk versus Reigns versus Rollins versus McIntyre. A blockbuster match with real stakes, personal history, and top-tier talent. But somehow, the WWE completely missed the boat. This should have been the WrestleMania main event, and instead, one of the most deserving stars on the roster got sidelined from the biggest match of the year, and that is a huge missed opportunity. And last but definitely not least, we got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yes, the Great One himself deserves a big chunk of the blame for why WrestleMania 41 feels like it's been held together with duct tape. Coming out of WrestleMania, it was obvious. We were heading towards a Cody Rhodes and Rock feud for WrestleMania 41. The seeds were planted, the tension was real, and the fans were ready for it. But then, Dwayne's movies started doing well again, and suddenly Hollywood came calling. So the plans changed again, and just like that, the entire WrestleMania card had to be reshuffled. On top of that, The Rock was a major reason John Cena turned heel, and yet he's completely ghosted us since then. No follow-up, no explanation, nothing. One of the biggest heel turns of all time, orchestrated by The Rock, and he's nowhere to be found. That alone has made the Cena storyline feel a little incomplete. Honestly, I kind of feel bad for Triple H. He was clearly left scrambling when The Rock backed out, and that all led to some weird booking decisions we've talked about in this video. But still, Hunter runs the final product, and WrestleMania 41 just does not have that magic feeling this year. So yeah, those are all the reasons why WrestleMania 41 isn't hitting the way it should. There's a lot of people to blame. You got Triple H, The Rock, poor timing, some bad luck, but regardless, the fans are the ones who are feeling let down. Now, don't get me wrong, I hope WrestleMania still delivers. There's enough talent, enough passion, and maybe even enough surprises to pull off a great show. But as far as the build-up goes, this is without a doubt the weakest road to WrestleMania since Triple H took the reins. Let's just hope the destination is worth the bumpy ride. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and here are some other videos I think you might enjoy.